Hi, my name is Karen Rowe, and I am a Premier Designs jeweler. I signed up in February of 2013. I live in Grand Junction, Colorado. And unlike most other jewelers that I've listened to their story, I knew I would be a good jeweler. I already wore a ton of jewelry. I love it. I love jewelry. I love every kind of jewelry. It didn't matter what kind. And when I went to my first jewelry party, I was excited. And the jeweler there told me that I should be a jewelry lady, and I said, I agree. But there was no way that I could. I was working 65 to 70 hours a week. I virtually was earning less money than I had since high school. And I needed to figure out a way to get me time so that I could be a jeweler because I knew I could do this. So I finally pared down the amount of hours. It took me about 2 years to get me to a part time basis, and I called the jeweler up and I said, I am ready to be a Premier Designs jeweler. And so she started to train me, but don't worry about it. I've got it. I know what I'm doing. Everything's great because I knew I could handle this. And so after my training show, I did. I went through the motions. I got my Quick Start 6. Hey, got my Quick Start 9. They didn't have 12 back then, but I got Jones Rookie Team. Neither one of those jewelers are still with me. And I got my 25 Home Show Club. And it was just shortly after that that I realized that, golly, I just don't have very much business left. I kept going to trainings, and to this day I still believe that if you make the meetings, you make the money. If you train, you remain. But I kept going to the meetings, and I kept learning things at the meetings. And one of the things I kept hearing about was this repeat hostesses and repeat clients, and I thought, I don't have any of those. I'm serious. Not one customer at a show was a repeat customer at a different show. And not one of my hostesses ever booked another party. I could never figure out why. If it happened for everybody else, why wasn't it happening for me? But I knew one thing. Did not, was not, could not be because of me. I mean, I put on fun shows. Everybody said they enjoyed themselves, so it had to be something else. And as the year started to wind down and I was really out of business now, all my shows were over with. I didn't have any more bookings. I had to sit there and think that, it's the city that I live in. It's a weird market. And I remember calling my premier grandma and telling her, it's just a weird market. And she said, yeah, they all have weird markets. And I would think, yeah, but you don't live here. I would talk to my premier mom and, sometimes we would talk about it. And I do live in a very weird marketplace, but it's really no different than yours. And I didn't have relationships that I was building, and I just couldn't figure out why. And I decided I needed to find that out. So in the course of my second year in Premier, I discovered 4 things. And these 4 things changed my life, literally. They changed my heart. They changed my business. And they're going to end up changing my entire future. And that's what I really want to share with you today. The first thing that changed my life was I picked up the book that came in my kit, By Chance or by Design, by Andy Horner. It's in our kit for a reason, and if you haven't read it, you need to, because it will tell you everything you need to know. When I got done reading that book, it was the first time in all of my years that I realized that everything I had been through was for a reason. God was with me throughout my entire life, and I went through everything I did so that I would be where I am at today, helping Him use me towards the plan that He has for me. That was huge for me. It softened my heart so much to know that it wasn't just me that made the decisions, that God was with me, and that there was a reason for it, and that reason is going to end up sometime being a testament to God's glory. The second thing that happened was that I got a chance to hear Bob Bolander speak. Sorry about my voice. I've been getting over a cold. But Bob talked about Your why in Premier. Excuse me. What is your why? In the beginning, the why is always about us, he said. But at some point, it has to shift and start to become more about others. We have to start taking on that service heart. And if we don't, we're not going to be successful. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, maybe that was the problem, because it was all about me. I wanted Quick Start 6. I wanted Quick Start 9. I wanted Joan's rookie team and everything to go with it. And I knew I could do it. We were having fun, but my business was gone. I never learned to make it about anybody else. So then I had to sit and wonder what my why was. And I thought to myself, if I could do anything and it was no holds barred, what would my why be? And I realized that it would be like, if I could be Bill Gates, I would be the biggest philanthropist in the entire world. And I had to stop and think about it. And I thought, well, I'm already doing that. Premier gives me the ability to give every time I sell a pair of earrings. I give to missions. I bring people to Christ. I feed people I'll never meet. I keep kids safe when they come home from school. If you just think about the entire plan that is behind Premier, we are all philanthropists. And so then I thought, I could do that in my town. A lot of the people I know don't want to have parties, but they will open up a checkbook to fund a cause. So with Premier, I get the opportunity to find any cause I want to back, and I have a party for it and give part of my earnings away. So I knew that when I restarted my business, it would be through fundraising, because I believe in it and my heart would be in it and people would see that. The third thing that happened in Premier during that year was we have our upline. I mean, every time we talk about Premier during an OP or an opportunity presentation, is that we have three people that are mainly invested in us. We have our Premier mom, and none of us would be here today without them, seeing in us the ability to be a jeweler. We also have our Premier grandma and our Premier great grandma. And we're told that all three of those are invested in our success. And I get sentimental when I think about my Premier grandma and my Premier great grandma, so you'll have to bear with me. But it is because of them that I am where I am at today. They were invested in my success. They were the wind beneath my wings. They saw in me qualities that I didn't even believe I had. And they worked with me through some of the darkest times of my life. They didn't let me lie to them and tell them that I had written down my goals. They wanted to see them. What are you doing today? They believed in me. They taught me to have a business plan. You cannot go anywhere if you don't know the road you're taking. Keep coming to the meetings. Keep going. They were there. And if it wasn't for my Premier grandma and my Premier great grandma, I wouldn't be sitting here today. So I owe it to them. But you guys all have a Premier mom. You have a Premier grandma. You have a great grandma. They are invested into you, and they're there for a reason. The fourth thing that happened was I had the opportunity to read a book called GoPro by Eric Worre. It is about the direct sales business. And on the first page, it opened up my eyes and changed my entire world. It said that there are three things that all direct sales businesses have. The first one is everybody has the same product. And we all do. We all have our jewelry, and nobody's jewelry is any different. The second thing we have is Premier Design Jewelers. So we all have the same compensation plan. None of us are paid any differently. We all have the same plan available to us. The third thing we all have is me, and in your case, you. So if you're successful, it's because of you. And if you're not successful, it's because of you. It's not because of the compensation plan, and it's not because of the product, because it works for other people. It's because of you. It's not because of the city you live in or the people that went to your parties. It's because of you. And that meant that it was because of me. And so I had to sit down And I just thought, oh my goodness, it's no wonder I don't have a repeat hostess or a repeat customer. By then, my heart had softened enough that I could actually look in the mirror and say, it is about you, but not in the way that it should be. I learned that I needed to give to others. Premier taught me that I needed to be of a service heart. And so now in Premier, I have a service heart. When I relaunched my business, you can see it in me. The customers that I invited to my launch saw it in me. My parties have doubled in retail sales from where they were when I first started, with virtually no extra work on me. I have repeat hostesses. I have repeat customers. Two of the jewelers that I have signed up, ladies, I never knew. They'd never been to a Premier Designs jewelry show. They were referred to me from other hostesses. Because when I present the OP, it is from my heart. I know that Premier can fit the need no matter how big or how tiny or how big that need might be. It is for everybody out there. And it is not for me to decide who to share it to or who not to share it to. So during the 3 years that I've been a Premier jeweler, I have learned that I love people and that God has me here for a reason. You're here for a reason as well. And then think about what we do. 2 years ago, when it came time to do a party, if someone was to say, what do you do for a living? I would say, oh, I go to jewelry shows and show jewelry. That was all about me. Now I say, you know what I do? I give women the opportunity to relax, to chill from their business, their husbands, their kids, to de-stress, to be with their friends, to play in beautiful jewelry and to earn it for free. Doesn't that just sound so much better? When people ask me, what else do you do? I don't say, well, I talk to people about the business. I have an opportunity every day to show women or a man how to change their life. I mentor them and make things better for them. Give them the tools they need to take the next step. Isn't that what we all do? What an awesome company if we look at it that way. Instead of looking at what it's going to do for us, when we look at it, what we can have it do for other people. That's what I wanted to share with you today. And I really want to thank you and let you know that I'm extremely honored to have had this opportunity to talk to you and share with you that Premier softened my heart. It has made me a better person. And I hope that it has the opportunity to do the same thing for you. Thank you.